Hi, I'm Teresa Ruth Howard, and I'm here with my good friends and dance icon, Liz Roxas. And if you don't know, now you will know, that Ms. Roxas was, can we call you a principal dancer? Because there's not really that hierarchy really there.
Right, but I did principal roles with Ailey.
Yeah,
so,
with Ailey for over 10 years, and now teaches at the school and does a lot of different things, including working with Adam Severe Smith. But we're going to talk today a little bit about her career and teaching and body image and things like that. So could you just first tell us, well, you're from the Philippines.
I'm from the Philippines. I was born and raised in Manila.
And you started to train there?
Trained in Manila, absolutely, and came to New York in the 70s, actually.
And what was your training like in the Philippines?
Well, different. I had Baganaba training, Chikeri. Growing up, we did the whole syllabus and everything, and then we had Russian teachers, and we had a lot of guest teachers from all over the world.
So you trained mostly in ballet?
Mostly in ballet, but we did modern as well. We had, like I said, we had a lot of guest teachers that would come in and out of the Philippines.
So you get like these kind of workshops?
Yeah, we had pseudo modern training, that kind of.
It's a lot. Yes.
Not quite the technique, but sort of.
Right. It's like you sort of when you get into a real Horton class, you're like, I recognize that.
Yeah. I mean, until I came to New York and actually took class at the Ailey School, did I not realize, oh gosh, this is the Horton technique. I never knew about the Horton technique. And the Graham technique was more prevalent, I guess, all over the world at that time. So we had Graham, but I wasn't a big fan of it.
Did you want to be a ballet dancer? Did it, as far as dance,
I think like most girls do.
And not really having modern, so you just go.
You're trained. You grow up training only classical ballet, and so I was aspiring to be a ballet dancer,
when
a
you
ballerina.
Came to New York. What changed your mind?
A lot of things. First of all, at that time, being Asian and coming to New York in the 70s, it's like there were not really a lot of dance companies that I can get in.
Right.
There was Joffrey, but I really wasn't quite into it either. And also realizing that though I was technically raised ballet, my technique was not quite, it's not that it wasn't proficient, it was proficient, but it was not that refined.
Right, so it's a different, just sort of different standard.
Yeah, it was a different standard, and I said if I was going to be a dancer, and I wanted to be a dancer, I wanted to be something that I was going to want it to be special.
Right, and that's how you kind of came to Ailey and found that whole aesthetic.
I actually auditioned for scholarships for different companies. There was the Cunningham, there was Graham, there was Ailey, and then there was Joffrey, and I got, fortunately, scholarship from all of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
so you had to choose. How did you choose then?
Alvin Ailey, because I saw Ailey when I was in
and you were just like, that,
and I said, well, if I can't be a ballet dancer, then I've got to be a modern dancer, and the best modern dancer in New York, in America, was Alvin Ailey.
But it's so funny because Martha Graham has a history with Asian dancers.
Yes, yeah.
And so I would have thought that...
I couldn't relate. I mean, my body type was not the body type that... or at that time at least, understood the whole intensity
of that,
of that contraction.
Interesting.
And that suspending the movement and catching the movement. I was very loose. I was, I had legs.
You were that
not
girl.
A lot of feet, but I had a lot of legs.
A lot of feet. Not a lot of feet, but legs I had.
Yeah, I mean, I was very, 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 very flexible.
And you were like. You're still kind of like...
Well, interesting, when I was growing up in the Philippines, I had, as if I can say, tits and ass.
Really?
I did. I mean, I wasn't voluptuous, but I was definitely more rounded.
Right. Interesting.
I was very, very much rounded. I had, thighs. Not that they were big, but they're, I had a shape.
You had a shape.
Yeah.
So what happened?
I still have a shape. But no, it's a different shape.
She has No, but what's interesting interesting is your body then, because when I became familiar with you, because you were already in that, like, the apex of your Ailey career, you were just like, you were like a head with hair, a stick with hair.
Yeah, everyone thought at one point, I think in my career, people were, like, I could hear whispers around going like, I think she's anorexic, I think something's wrong with her, I think she's got an eating disorder.
So what, I mean, what, was it just the work that stripped your body down?
Definitely the work. I got injured. I changed my whole way of thinking about dance. The way I took class, I was doing physical therapy. I was cross-training at that time that a lot of people weren't cross-training.
So were you doing like biking or running or?
I was in I was doing all of that physical therapy basically every day.
So just basically your physical conditioning was different. Now, did you start doing that because you were injured, or did you start doing that because the workload was what it was?
Well, I started doing that because I was injured. I was accidentally dropped on stage in one of the performances at Ailey, and literally several doctors said I could never dance again.
It was your knee.
Yeah, I have no ACL on both my knees.
Now you have no ACL because you're born that way,
no,
as Lady Gaga would say?
No, I was accidentally dropped, and so being dropped, I was dropped from a high lift. My feet landed on the floor, but because I was so loose, and I didn't expect, the impact
weren't ready for it.
My knees went the opposite way. I know, and this happened during a performance. Oh. And they literally had to close the curtain. Mr. Ailey was alive then at that time. Closed the curtain, dragged me off the stage, put the next cast on stage. Lights went on, curtains went up, and as though nothing happened.
Because the show must go on.
The show must go on.
Literally, they pulled her dead carcass off.
Literally, they did. It happened in, where was this? This is at the Elizabeth Theater in Vancouver. Yeah, in Vancouver.
That is crazy. So you went to the hospital immediately?
Went to the hospital immediately with my costume on.
That's hard.
No, and they said, well, funny thing was the costume mistress said, oh no, we gotta take out, because my niece immediately blew up, and so they had to rip my costume. So instead of just cutting through the costume mistress said, oh no, we have to make sure that they cut through
on the seam. Shady.